Dr. Raquel Núñez, and I'm a professor of decolonization at San Diego State University. Let me tell you about my tia Juana. She came to Chicago in 1962 for an international cuisine conference, and it was there that she met a Puerto Rican man. And she fell in love. She decided to stay and promptly married my tío Juan Manuel. Somehow, they managed to open up a little corner store in the city. They worked hard and were proud to make a name for themselves. 7 years later, my tío Juan Manuel suffered a major heart attack. His death was a big blow to my tia. Somehow she gathered herself up every morning and headed to the store to keep their dream, to keep him alive. Shortly after his death, she received a letter from the alderman, Mr. Smith, about the newest gentrification project in the city.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for this opportunity to explain to you the protests that are going on against our urban renewal project in the Lincoln Park neighborhood. A little while ago, a woman from the neighborhood named Juana came to my office and told me, Mr. Smith, your urban renewal project is threatening my way of life. Now we know threatening is much too harsh a word to use for urban renewal. It's going to bring a higher standard of living and revitalize the economy. So I looked at her and I told her, look, ma'am, look at all the wonderful things that are going to come to your neighborhood with our project. There's going to be high-tech schools, medical clinics, a shopping mall, restaurants, etc., etc., etc. But she didn't have the vision to see future potential or the drive to make big profit. Her and her husband had a little grocery store where they sold their food products at prices that satisfied the community and kept the store running. She thought her store was fine because it was clean, well organized, and free of bugs. I'm not saying this woman was backward, but she was definitely afraid of change and growth. However, I told her, you can keep your store. All you have to do is make the necessary upgrades. Or if you decide not to do that, you will be compensated. I have to tell you, Mr. Mayor, I was very careful when I talked to these people because I didn't want to make them feel like children. However, it turned out it's not in their nature to understand progress. And I'm convinced that we have to impose enlightenment on them, or else they'll still be rubbing two sticks together and acting like savages. They're actually quite fortunate to have people like us who want to improve their community. I will always stand up for progress and development, even if it goes against their nature. As a matter of fact, Mr. Mayor, I will push this project through, even if it goes against nature itself. Thank you.
Buenos días, mi pueblo, my dear public. My name is Juana. A long time ago, while grieving the death of my husband, I received a letter from the alderman stating that my store was to go under urban renewal. The way I understood it was that the store, either I had to sell it or come up with big money for improvements. I made it a point to go see this Mr. Smith, the alderman. I told them in so many words that the letter had to be a mistake because it was threatening to close it down. Oh, he reassured me the letter was no mistake and that there was no threat involved because I would be compensated for my loss. How do these aldermen know, these city planners know how to compensate for someone's loss? Yes, I was paid a fair price, supposedly, for my store that under urban renewal would increase in money value. But it's not just about the money. My losses went deep. My husband and I had been so blessed to have this little store on the corner we called La Esquina. We were fortunate to make a living, to serve, and to give back to our community. We had a bulletin window that had all the announcements of the community for meetings, projects, festive events, wonderful memories. We were a tight-knit community. You see, my husband had been a long-time member of Los Caballeros de San Juan. We had compadres and comadres in LADO, Latin American Defense Organization, the Puerto Rican Organization for Action Council, the Spanish Action Committee, Casa Central. What you know today as gentrification, we knew as urban renewal, and we witnessed as urban removal. We saw hundreds of people evicted and escorted out by sheriff's police. There was protests, marches, people gave their time, some gave their lives. Over 400 community residents pitched their tents on Halsted and Armitage in protest. The youth also protested by trashing the Department of Urban Renewal. Amongst this youth was this street gang that got politicized and became the Young Lords Organization. One of their most noted acts was taking over this church and converting it into a medical center. I wanted to keep my store, and my clients encouraged me to continue. But in the end, I had to let it go, and I returned to my family in California. But make no mistake, we all wanted what urban renewal promised, but we wanted it at a price that included the whole of the community and was beneficial for everybody.
My Tia Juana's Esquinita is long gone. So is the old Chicago neighborhood and the majority of Puerto Ricans who once lived there. Where did they go? Where did they come from? Throughout history, Puerto Rico has been the target of imperialism, occupied and invaded by the US military, exploited and polluted by big business. It has yet to be recognized as the 51st state or as an independent nation. Hurricane Maria has left it ever more vulnerable to outside foreign investors who are ready to pounce and buy up the land. But Puerto Ricans are working together to keep their land and to cultivate their independence. Casa Pueblo has been a model and an inspiration before and after the storm by using micro-solar power. Other grassroots organizations, such as Proyecto de Apoyo Mutuo de Mariana, combat hunger by growing vegetables and organizing communal kitchens, cleaning up the debris from the storm. 60 organizations have joined together to create Junte Gente, bring people together, to fight for a radically transformed Puerto Rico. Oh, and my Tia Juana, back in California, her house is a constant flow of family, friends, and clients. She is the most respected curandera. And her fuerza has always been true love. And my Tío Juan Manuel will forever be at the center of her heart. And now we dedicate this to the diaspora.
En mi viejo San Juan, cuántos sueños forjé en mis noches de infancia. Mi primera ilusión y mis cuites de amor
Una tarde me fui hacia extraña nación, pues lo quiso la muerte. Pero mi corazón se quedó frente al mar en mi viejo San Juan. Adiós, 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 Boriquín querida. Adiós, 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 mi diosa del mar.
Reina del palmar.
Ya me voy, pero un día volveré a buscar mi querer, a soñar otra vez en mi viejo San Juan. Pero el tiempo pasó y el destino borrió mi terrible nostalgia, y no pude volver al San Juan que yo amé, pedacito de patria. Y el tiempo pasó, mi cabello blanqueó, y a la muerte me llama, y no quiero morir alejada de ti, Puerto Rico de mi alma. Adiós, 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 Boriquín querida. Adiós, 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 mi diosa del mar. Ya me voy, pero un día volveré a buscar mi querer, a soñar otra vez en mi viejo San Juan, a volver otra vez, a soñar otra vez en mi viejo San Juan.
To exist here. We give recognition to the work of Chacha Jimenez, all the members and the associates of the Young Lords organization and the Valiant Women of Chicago, to Pat Devine. There are so many others from our past, present, and future who did, do, and will accomplish great things. We look forward to working with all of you in reclaiming the dignity of all peoples and the sacredness of nuestra Madre Tierra. Muchísimas gracias, Tlaxcamati. Thank you.